Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. It's all nice to see your smiling faces everywhere. I am Christine Amin. I am the current president for 2 more meetings. Jeremy. Um, as always, because it gets energy in the room going, we are going to start with Happy Bucks. And I have one of my favorite people here that's going to do Happy Bucks today. Susie Tumblin, take it away. Anybody happy?
I'm always happy. So I've had a gallery for 2 months, a pop-up gallery in the village of West Greenville. On Saturday, I have to hand it over. So I decided, well, let's have a party. Well, international art is what I've been showing. And the World Cup is coming up next week. We're going to have a World Cup celebration. Coffee con leche, pastries from a Honduran bakery, sangria. How can we go wrong? So how about 12 to 6? I'll give you the information. If you come see me, drop in. Let's have a fun time, meet some of my other friends from other worlds, and have a great time.
What day was that again?
This Saturday.
Before he closes down. All right. Awesome. Who else we got? Hi.
Hey. I'm happy because yesterday my husband Kip and I celebrated our 41st wedding anniversary.
Congratulations. No visible flesh wounds, right? That's okay. Who else is happy? Who we got? Nobody else here? Nobody's happy over here. This is the sad corner. Who's oh, here. We found some happiness.
I'm happy that Pam and I are leaving this afternoon for Indonesia on our way to the Rotary Convention in Taipei.
Excellent. Anybody else on this side happy? Happy people. Happy people. Okay.
I'm happy because Terry planned the trip.
Yeah, I feel that.
I'm happy because last week we went to Los Angeles and drove down, California, and went down US 1. And I'm happy because 25 miles north of San Simeon, a light came on the dashboard and said, you're losing tire pressure in your right front tire. And if you've ever driven on US 1, there is no apron. So we went from 45 pounds down to 16 and made it to San Simeon. And that was very happy.
You're blessed. Did you buy a lottery ticket too? That would be awesome. What else we got?
I'm happy because I am here as a guest today with Lucy. I have not been to a Rotary meeting in years, probably like 8 years, but I am back and it's exciting to be back. So that's why I'm happy.
You're a prodigal, a recovering prodigal. Thank you for being here.
I'm happy because my dear friend Susie is collecting the Happy Bucks, and also because in my retirement, I'm learning to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
She's getting pretty good at it too.
Hi, I'm happy because my son just graduated from the College of Charleston with honors and has a full-time job.
Awesome. Who else is happy? Who's got joy? Alex looks joyful. No, not joyful today. All right. Well, that's all our happiness today. Oh, wait. No, don't want to miss.
I'm happy to be here on this sunshiny afternoon after all this rain that we really needed.
We enjoy the rain and now we have the sauna of summer. Okay, I think that's us. Did you have something? Okay, never mind. Just a second.
Well, I'm happy that I survived my spinal surgery and got the battle scar to prove it.
Nice, Vicky.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, guys. And thank you to all of our service members for their service. So
yes. Okay. You can take that back to your. So just a reminder, if you didn't put bucks in the Happy Buck bucket for Happy Bucks, you can still do it at your table for cart. I know we had one guest over here. She already introduced herself. Any other guests? Any other guests? Oh, all right, Bob.
My guest is Marvin Sabadoh, a new resident of Greenville living out at Hartness. And I told him he needed to try out the best Rotary Club in Greenville.
Thank you.
Do
Thank
I
you
give
for
it to
being
him?
here. You don't have to.
Okay.
Yep, but you can wave, wave. All right. Okay. Oh, John's here.
Glad to have my wonderful husband, John Dyer, and he's a little bit interested in the Greenville Spartanburg Airport.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine. Any guests over here? Oh, do you want to?
Sure. This is our Rotary Scholar, VJ Madison. Thank you for coming.
Right. Yeah. Are you a guest of someone or you're just here? Okay. Well, introduce yourself.
I'm Ellen Kendall and I moved here 3 months ago, been a Rotarian forever and looking for a club to join here. And I'm here for my third time. So that says something.
Okay. Hey, third time's a charm. Yeah. Thank you for coming. Okay. I'm going to move on. Let me not run and walk in front of the camera. So we've had some happy bucks. We've had some guest introductions. And now I'm going to go to a more serious note. I'd like to talk a little bit about Memorial Day. As everyone knows, yesterday was Memorial Day. And in the United States, Memorial Day is a day for honoring those who have died while serving in our country's armed forces. Memorial Day originated during the American Civil War when citizens placed flowers on the graves of those who had been killed in battle. It was originally called Decoration Day. The first national observance of Decoration Day was in 1868. And before it was a national holiday, many states observed their own Decoration Day, including a large observance in May of 1865 that took place in Charleston. After World War I, the name was changed to Memorial Day, and in 1971, it became a federal holiday. So in honor of Memorial Day, we pause to remember those who gave their lives in service to others. Their sacrifice reminds us that the freedoms we enjoy are not accidental. They are sustained by courage, commitment, and a willingness to serve something greater than ourselves. As Rotarians, may we honor that legacy, not only with remembrance, but through our actions, by strengthening our communities, supporting one another, and choosing service above self in all that we do. Thank you. If you'll stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I'm going to make a few announcements. If you guys want to get out your phones, mark your calendars. May 28th is the next after hours meeting, and it's at Merrill Gardens. And even if you are a regular lunchtime member, you just want to come to the after hours. It's really fun. There's a few adult beverages there. There's great food, great company, and a very nice patio at Merrill Gardens. On June the 9th at 11 a.m., there's new member orientation. If you are a new member and have not done new member orientation, please sign up for that. We will also have our lunch meeting that day. And then the next evening, Discover Rotary is at 5:30, June 16th at Craig Galden and Davis. And all of those dates and times are on your card that's sitting in the middle of your table. One other important announcement, Jeremy's going to come up and talk about it, but Jeremy is going to be sending out a member survey. I know everybody gets a lot of surveys, but if you could just take a few minutes and respond to this survey that is going to be in your email. So check your email. It's going to be in your email today. So it really helps out the club to respond to these surveys.
Thank you, Christine. So you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of me. At least that's what I'm told. So I hope you're ready. But anyways, yes, as we're beginning our transition to the new Rotary year, we're going to be focusing on creating lasting impact. And one of those aspects of that is going to be member engagement. So we want everyone here and all of our members to be actively plugged in to the club, different committees and different areas of service. That's really where you're going to get the most benefit from being a member of this club, in lieu of just coming to these lunch meetings, getting involved, getting plugged in, meeting people, making friends, and making an impact on our community and the world. So the member interest survey is going to be coming out today at 1 p.m. So whenever you get back to your offices or homes, you should see that email in your inbox. Thank you, Terry, for helping get that set up. I know it's another survey and you get to ask to do surveys a lot, but please look at this, fill it out, and get it back to us. It's our plan for you to tell us the areas you're interested in. If you're not interested in any of the areas that we have listed, which there's a lot, there's a section at the bottom where you can type your own ideas of, ideas you have, other things you want to get plugged in. So please get those filled out and submitted, and we will promise to get all of you guys engaged and serve in the club however you would like to. So thank you, guys.
Good afternoon. I used to fly a lot. There was a period of time when I used to fly so much I bought more hotel rooms than I slept in my own bed. And during another period of my life, for about 3 years, I commuted between South Carolina and LAX weekly. So folks, when I moved up here to Greenville, I had some friends that were, fellow fly guys. And they say, but good luck finding a direct flight from here on in, man, because, you got Charlotte on one side and Atlanta on the other. Well, ladies and gentlemen, last week, as you just heard me mention, I got on a plane at GSP and flew direct to Los Angeles for less than $400 a seat on Breeze Airlines. Today, GSP flies to, and make a mental note of this if you're making vacation plans, Atlanta, Baltimore, Charlotte. Okay, you knew those. But Chicago, Cincinnati, Columbus, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, Fort Lauderdale, Fort Myers, Hartford, Houston, Los Angeles, Miami, Nashville, New Haven, New York City, Newark, which is easier to get downtown New York than New York City, Orlando, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Providence, Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete, and Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot of service going direct out of GSP. And our speaker today, Ken Howell, is running our growing airport, which not only transports people, but he's probably going to talk about German horsepower and Middle Eastern horses. Let's let him tell you about it. Ladies and gentlemen, the president and CEO of GSP International Airport, Mr. Ken Howell.
Thank you for the introduction. Again, my name is Kevin Howell. I serve as the president and CEO of GSP Airport. And before I get started, I've got a little short video for those that are frequent flyers. Some of this may resonate with you.
Why can't we just get in? I don't understand. I don't know. It's right there.
Sorry, sir. You can't keep your bag there. You have to put it in the compartment.
It won't fit.
Try putting it in sideways.
I did. Ladies and gentlemen, there seems to be a small problem with the sunglasses compartment in the center console. We should have that problem fixed momentarily and we'll be on our way. Thanks for your patience.
Can you put that in airplane mode for me?
It is.
That looks like Facebook.
It's just a game.
We're currently fourth in line and should be on our way in about 20 minutes.
So you're traveling for work or leisure?
For work.
What do you do?
I'm in sales.
What are your dreams and aspirations?
Just a little heads up, We have reached our cruising speed of 35 miles per hour, an altitude of about 0 feet. Let us know if there's anything we can do to make your drive more comfortable.
Yeah, you can shut the hell up.
Be sure to sign up for our rider loyalty program so you can collect thousands and thousands of meaningless points.
The screen's not working. Ma'am, can I give you this trash?
Oh, I'll be back shortly for trash. But it's not trash time! Sir, would you like to buy some headphones?
Ma'am, can I get a blanket?
Sure. Here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're arriving right on time, so I'm going to circle around about 4 or 5 times just for the hell of it.
I think from the laughter in the room, I think a lot of us can relate to a lot of the things in the video. We understand that sometimes traveling is not the greatest experience. Traveling can be a lot of fun, but sometimes it doesn't go exactly the way you want it to. But at GSP, we try to do our best at running the airport to make sure the start and the finish of your journey is as pleasant as it can be. Again, my name is Kevin Howell. I have the pleasure of serving as the president and CEO of the Greenville-Spartanburg Airport District. I have the opportunity to lead a team of about 200 employees that operate and maintain the Greenville-Spartanburg International Airport. And I will tell you, it's a great team. I'm not new to the community. I'm not new to GSP. I actually started there in 2010 as the chief operating officer, and I served nearly 15 years as COO. And this past January, Dave Edwards, our previous CEO, retired. You may have had him speak at previously at Rotary. And I had the honor of moving into the president CEO role. So again, thank you for the opportunity to share more about GSP. We love getting out in the community and talking about GSP and all the great things that are going on. Our mission is very simple: to advance the economic prosperity of the region by providing a safe, convenient, user-friendly, and cost-competitive air transportation system. We take our mission very seriously. You will see that it doesn't just say we run an airport, but we do take the part about economic development, economic impact to the upstate very seriously. We think that is the true purpose of the airport. And every strong community needs a strong airport, and likewise, strong airports need strong communities. We do both say that GSP is not the economic engine of upstate. But we are definitely a critical cog in that economic engine of the upstate and providing that gateway connection to the rest of the world. A little bit about how we operate. The Greenville-Spartanburg Airport District is governed by a 6-member commission. They're evenly appointed by Greenville and Spartanburg County legislative delegations, and they're all confirmed by the governor. It should be important to note that we receive no local tax dollars. No city or state money goes to the operations and maintenance of the airport. We are fully financially self-sustaining as an airport. Again, like I said, I have just over 200 employees that work for the airport district, but there are almost 2,000 employees that work at the airport in different, whether you're working for an airline, TSA, air traffic controllers, working at the gift shops and restaurants at the airport, cargo operators, what have you. But there's 2,000 people at the airport, and we sit on about a 3,500-acre campus. Those employees, I think, are what makes GSP such a great airport, and we have the hardware to prove it. GSP was recently named again the best airport in North America for small airports, 2 to 5 million passengers per year. We've won that. Thank you. GSP has received this award 4 years in a row now, and 5 out of the last 6. And I think that is just, we're very proud of it as an airport. Again, it's not just our staff, but it is the full team, the full culture, if you have, that we have instilled amongst all of our tenants and operators at the airport. And we just think it validates what our attention to customer experience and operational excellence is all about. Economic impact to the region. GSP contributes all $4.7 billion in total economic impact to the upstate region. We support nearly 25,000 jobs and generate nearly $89 million in annual sales tax revenue. Non-resident visitors that visit our community and come through GSP add another $1.5 billion to the upstate economy. Our cargo operations contribute another $1.2 billion of economic impact. And just to share where we're going in the future, over the next 6 years, we have nearly $500 million in planned capital investment. Again, just a testament to the continued growth in our region. And as Dave was saying earlier, we don't just go to Atlanta and Charlotte. We do have all the hubs covered, but we have 7 airlines today that are servicing GSP nonstop to 30 different destinations. Here's the route map. A little bit about our growth over the past several years. Starting back in 2010, we were about 1.3 million passengers in 2010. Today, we're just over 3 million. So it's quite a bit of growth. That drop you see in 2020, I think we all know what that was. That was the COVID pandemic. We were setting record over record, and then the pandemic hit, and we had that obvious drop. But we've been on a roar, really, coming back since 2020. And again, just hit that 3 million mark this past year, a new record, and we anticipate hitting 3.2 this coming year. This growth is reflective of generally what's going on in the upstate. Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Greer, you name it, every city in the upstate is growing. A lot of people moving to this community, a lot of businesses coming here, industry growing, manufacturing, and the GSP is really just a reflection of what's going on here in the upstate region. It's not all about passengers, though. Cargo is critical for us. We got heavily involved in cargo movement as an airport about 10 years ago. We always had UPS and FedEx and some of your integrated cargo, but we knew there was other cargo that was coming to the upstate via trucks. It was landing in other airports and being trucked into our community. And we saw that as a target to, again, further grow the airport and diversify GSP. But we went after the all cargo business. And today, happy to say GSP is ranked as the 23rd largest cargo airport in the U.S. based on international trade value. In 2025 alone, we handled just over $5 billion in international trade. GSP is the only airport in either of the Carolinas now that has all cargo international service. And the distinction is all cargo. A lot of cargo flies on the belly of aircraft. And obviously you have the FedEx and UPSs that are flying to the domestic hubs before they go international. But at GSP, we have several flights a week, primarily now going to Europe. But we see and support major industries like automotive, advanced manufacturing, and logistics. You may not know that GSP sits on over 3,500 acres. We are bordered on 4 different sides by major highways and interstates. We have I-85 on one side of us, Highway 14, Highway 80, and our property stretches all the way to the north of Highway 101 to the International Logistics Park and the South Carolina Inland Port. We see land development and real estate development as a future for GSP. We're getting more involved in this area. We've done several projects around the inland port to bring major distribution centers and logistics operators to the upstate. But we are working actively to market and, again, further expand GSP's economic impact to the upstate by looking at these 2,500 acres in different colors here. We've identified 8 distinct parcels. I will tell you the airport has excellent access to not only the airfield, but roadway, rail, and port infrastructure that most airports cannot match today. We think this positions GSP as an important strategic partner for industrial growth and economic development to continue here in the upstate. Everybody likes to see airports have a lot of construction. We're a lot of capital projects at the airport. At one of my former airports, I had a boss who had a sign on his wall that it read, "Airports are just construction sites where airplanes happen to land." And sometimes I feel that's true, but these are just some of the recent developments we've had at the airport. Our industry also loves acronyms. FBO stands for Fixed Based Operator, but this is the private aircraft terminal where corporate aircraft and private aircraft go into land. We recently completed a $15 million expansion and renovation to that project that doubled the size of our corporate aircraft terminal, as well as providing parking. This is an important facility that most of our passengers do not see, but this is where a lot of businesses fly into the community. It's their first and last impression of the upstate. And again, providing that high level of service, those amenities that those customers need. If you've been to GSP in the recent years, we've also recently wrapped up about a $20 million terminal roadway improvement project. Our marketing team loves acronyms. They call this the TRIP project. On the TRIP project, we expanded our curb front and added roundabouts to improve traffic flow in and out of the airport and again, improve the customer experience. And this is also preparing for that future growth that we're still experiencing. This is probably our biggest project we've had in the last few years. In the background of this photograph, you see two smaller parking garages, affectionately known as parking garage A and B. Garage A is nearly 40 years old, and I think garage B is about 30 years old. We just built our third garage, and I'm sorry to say we're not real creative with our names. It's just parking garage C now. But we added about 1,500 spaces in garage C. It was about a $100 million project. It also, 2 floors in that facility were dedicated to our rental cars. We moved rental cars from garage A to garage C, and we're repurposing the former rental car spots at A to back to public parking. But again, this is providing additional capacity for public parking, improving the customer experience for our rental car customers, and just accommodating current and future growth. Another project that was recently completed was about a $7 million passenger boarding bridge project. Before this project, we had 13 boarding bridge gates at the airport. Now we have 15. I'll be talking about further expansion here shortly, but these 2 new gates, again, giving us a little bit extra capacity, especially if you've flown out in the mornings. I think we have 15 flights all trying to leave in the first hour or 2, and that first push of the day can get pretty hectic, and this gives us a little bit more capacity. So what's coming up? And I'm going to touch on 2 very important projects here. Runway rehabilitation. Just like DOT has to repave highways and roads, airports have to repave runways. And our runway is 11,000 feet long. It can land almost anything out there that's flying today. The middle, roughly close to 8,000 feet of it is asphalt. And we will be milling and overlaying, for the engineers in the room, the asphalt sections of the runway, as well as doing all the shoulders. This is about a $35 million project. And again, this happens about every 15 to 16 years, give or take, on paving. What makes this project interesting, as a single runway airport, it's a little challenging to how to do this at night because we have a very tight window. We only have about 4 or 5 hours at night where we have no passenger airline traffic. The engineers looked at trying to do this all at nighttime work, and we just could not find a way to economically deliver this project. So we are going through the measures of having to do 2 weekend shutdowns this September. The weekend of September 11th and the following weekend on September 18th, we're actually going to have to shut the runway down at GSP. It's going to shut down at 8 p.m. on a Friday night. We have contractors lined up to basically work all night Friday, all day Saturday, all night Saturday night, all day Sunday, wrap up Sunday night, and Monday morning at 8 a.m. we reopen. So 2 weekends, roughly 60 hours each. We will be closed. Leading up to that work, we have some nighttime work that we've got to do to get ready for those big shutdowns. And then after the weekend shutdowns, we've got some night work again at the end, putting the lights back in place, marking, signage, et cetera. Again, this is a big project. Luckily, it only happens about every 15 to 16 years. Another big project we've got going on, we are wrapping up the design phase, getting ready to start construction on a microgrid project at the airport. It's about a $27.5 million project. We're putting in about a 3.5 megawatt solar array at the airport and a 4 megawatt battery storage system. This will improve our resiliency at the airport, and we can actually come off the grid, if you will, on peak hours, or if there's natural disasters, we can still support the terminal functions. But what makes this project even more interesting is where we're putting the solar array canopies. We're actually going to put them on top of the parking garage. So this is going to be, again, just an amenity or to improve that customer service, customer experience. We're going to be able to cover the cars on the rooftop with solar panels. The first two garages we're going to work on is Garage C and Garage B. We'll get those covered in this project, and we're hoping that a future phase will come back and tackle Garage A. But this is a pretty neat project. I've never done a solar canopy project, so I'm getting to learn all about solar energy and working with Duke Energy, but this is a fun one. This is also an exciting project because it was, I don't know if this is good or bad, but in 2010, when I first joined GSP, they asked me to start working on a new air traffic control tower. So it's taken us nearly 16 years to get here. It's frankly, working with the federal government doesn't always move fast, but just a few weeks ago, the FAA finally announced funding for a new air traffic control tower at GSP. Construction will start later this summer, and we think the new tower will be operational by 2028, 2029. And that's a rendering of what that tower looked like. It's going to be much taller than the existing tower. I think the new one's 190 feet in the air, so highly likely you'll be able to see this tower from the interstate. And of course, we talked about all the growth here in the upstate and the region, what's going on. But at GSP, again, we're just a reflection of what's going on in the upstate. We just hit that 3 million mark this past year. We are preparing GSP to reach 7 million passengers by 2042. You look at the calendar and that sounds like a long time away, but time moves fast, right? So we are in planning now on this project. Moving that air traffic control tower is a prerequisite project that has to happen so we can expand the B concourse, but we're going to be adding 6 gates on the B concourse. 2 of those will be wide body international gates. So we hope to have scheduled international service in the future. We're also replacing the outbound baggage system, improving the federal inspection stations for customs, expanding our lounge, and adding additional baggage claim. Again, we're currently in planning. Current estimates are showing this project about $400 million, and we'll deliver this over 2 or 3 different phases over the next 7 to 10 years. I'll wrap up there, take a few questions, but I just want to leave you with this understanding of the economic impact GSP has to the region, and that we are trying to grow and be responsive to what's going on here upstate. We are committed to safety, customer experience, and long-term regional growth. And again, we just appreciate the Rotary Club inviting GSP to come share a little bit more about the airport today. And I'll be happy to take some questions from the group. Because we want you to come down to the intersection. So if you, I think I know where you're coming from. If you're in surface lot 2, I think. If you continue that sidewalk down to the roundabout, there's a crosswalk there. We're trying to encourage people to cross at the crosswalk. And yeah, so we need to do a better job with our signage, it sounds like. She's shaking her head. There's definitely disadvantages. I think our runway rehab highlights maybe the disadvantages of just doing maintenance, right? Technically speaking, the airport can operate perfectly fine on one runway. There's airports like San Diego, California, that has one runway. Much larger airport, obviously, right? There's lots of airports that have one runway. The challenge comes of how to do construction projects, how to do maintenance. Nighttime is very tight. I would tell you that our master plan, every airport has to have a master plan. We look out 20, 30, 40 years. And on our master plan, we do show a parallel runway in the future. We've reserved the property for that runway. Where the FAA gets involved and the federal government gets involved, they look at the capacity of the runway. And the FAA's, per their calculations, they would tell us that we're only using about 25% of the capacity of the runway. So they want to see that capacity getting used more before they will get involved with funding a second runway. I kind of joked with my predecessor. I joked that this project pushed him into retirement probably, and I got stuck doing the closure. But I do think that GSP needs to start thinking about the next runway rehab again. 15, 16 years down the road, this is going to happen again, and it's on my radar. And I've put it on the staff's team to start talking about when do we build that second runway, and it's going to require a significant amount of investment. And probably some help from the state or the federal government to make that happen. But that's definitely in our future. Oh, crosswind. So crosswind runways. Yeah, without getting into too technical. So the smaller airports that have crosswind runways, smaller aircraft like the little small piston aircraft, the training aircraft, they cannot take crosswind as much as a larger, heavier aircraft can. So commercial aircraft can handle the crosswind better than smaller aircraft. And in the old days, they had gets into tail draggers and all this kind of stuff. But you had runways that the old military fields, I think they were set up like triangles. And then you had the cross fields, and it helped with the crosswind when they're trying to land or take off. So that's probably where that was coming from. But most GSP, we're focused on, I'd say, the larger, heavier jet air traffic. You know, we are blessed that we have a very strong downtown airport at GMU. We have a good, strong downtown airport in Spartanburg. We have Donaldson Center out with SCTAC. We are surrounded by other airports that can handle a lot of that smaller, some of the piston engine training type aircraft that are out there, and it lets us focus on heavier commercial jets. We do have quite a bit of corporate activity, but we don't get a lot of the training aircraft at GSP. I can clarify that. So from an O&M side, on OpEx, for operating and maintaining the airport, we are totally self-sufficient on the OpEx side. We do receive some grant money for capital projects. When you more so in the past, it's been more federal and very little bit of help from the state. In recent years, the commercial service airports are starting to see more money from the state, because I think the state of South Carolina has realized that there's states around us like Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida that are investing heavily in their airports at a much higher level than South Carolina was. And South Carolina, frankly, to be competitive in aerospace and aviation, they're going to have to start investing more in the aviation infrastructure. So I think that's why the state's putting more money there. I would also add, if you fly and you buy a commercial airline ticket, you will see an aviation tax on there. Sometimes it'll say Aviation Trust Fund. That money is going into a fund managed by the FAA that's distributed to airports based on passengers. It's in our business, it's called AIP funds, Airport Improvement Program. So that program is really supported by the users of the system. And we get entitlement money and discretionary money from the AIP program. Well, by this program is called ASQ, Airport Service Quality Index. It's managed by a industry group called Airport Council International. In this category at 2 to 5 million, they consider that small airports. The next category is 5 million to, I'll do this off the top of my head, it might be 10 million. It's medium hub or medium size airports. And then beyond 10 is the large airports. So we should be in this category for a few more years. For our facility planning purposes, we project 4 to 5% annual growth on the passenger side. Medium, I think Charleston would fall in that category. Raleigh, Durham, maybe Indianapolis. I'm just kind of shooting off the top of my head. Maybe Columbus, Ohio. Those kind of size airports. The very large categories would be like your Atlantas, your Charlottes, your Miamis, your Chicago O'Hares. Those would be your largest. So A0 is honestly, it's a temporary gate. We looked at renumbering it and being A1, then shifting all the other numbers down, but we really see A0 is only going to get used for, I'll say 2 to 3 years, somewhere around there. And we will pull that bridge down and recycle it for another project later. So that's the reason why we didn't renumber everything, is because we see that location being temporary. And A0, for a little while we were calling it 8.5, but that was A0 is wingspan restricted to regional jets only. it's a pretty tight fit between A1 and the garden there. I'll just say, this group did not disappoint. I mean, everywhere we go in the community, we hear all the time kudos and people bragging about how great the airport is. And I think people that travel a lot know how great and special GSP is. I can't take credit for it. The bones of the airport were established a long, long time ago. But I think we have a team of people that take a lot of pride in working there at GSP. They take a lot of pride in what they do. If I took you to see some of the behind the scenes spaces that are, I'll say the bowels of the airport, where we some of the cleanest facilities you've ever seen as far as industrial space goes. But I just brag about the team so much about how hard they work and how much pride they have in their job. But that's not just our staff. I mean, I think if you flew, this past year we've had 2 unfortunate federal shutdowns where TSA workers were not getting paid. We did not have some of the problems that major cities were having where TSA people weren't coming to work. Our folks kept coming to work. Now, they don't work for me, but we work with those folks. Again, I think it's just a reflection of how special the upstate is and the people that live here. And I put it all back on the team. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, exactly. Communication, it really starts. All of our employees, no matter who they work for, they have to get a airport ID to work at the airport. So we actually start that process when they're getting their ID. We start talking about customer service and customer experience. Even though they're not working for me, they've got to go through our badging office to get a badge. They would say they're forced to watch a video, right? But it's customer service training. Tom Tyre is with us. He's our chief marketing officer. His team really leads customer experience, customer service, but we talk about it all the time. Whether we have tenant meetings, we're meeting with airline managers. It's just that continual reinforcement of how we want to run the airport, how we want the culture to be, and what we expect out of those folks. And you hope it trickles down, right? But it's constant reinforcement and I guess just keep talking about it. There's been a few of those. So GSP has no restrictions, no curfews, no moratoriums. So we are open 24/7. I would say luckily for folks who live in the flight path, we don't have a lot of that. But you mentioned Laredo, and we talked a little bit about cargo. There is a lot of manufacturing and industry here in the upstate, automotive being a mainstay of it. But if you're seeing or hearing aircraft that late at night or early in the morning coming out of Texas, it's most likely cargo shipments for one of our manufacturers. They make a lot of parts down in Mexico, and they will truck it to Laredo and then fly it in from Laredo. So that is most likely cargo. Most of our activity ceases, I'll say, around midnight. And the first flight in the morning is usually 5:30 in the morning. If there's anything landing in between that, it's a critical movement, or it is possibly a late flight. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. Sometimes with Atlanta or Charlotte, some of the busier airports, they like to those flights leave or land at GSP around midnight. And if those are running late, those sometimes spill over. But that's probably what you're hearing. I apologize if it's kept you up. I think the woman at the next table might have had a question, or yes, ma'am. Yeah, sure. It is economics, and you got to keep in mind aircraft or movable assets. Tom and his team, we as an airport are always meeting with airlines, pitching routes, pitching ideas, pitching concepts. But it's got to make financial sense for them, right? That the whole concept of hub and spoke, the airlines are aggregating hundreds of passengers across the hubs to go to a single destination, and that's what they're really doing. But talking about international flights specifically, those are usually larger aircraft, sometimes referred to as wide bodies, but you're going to need, I'm going to say 180 to even sometimes more people per day going to a single destination. And we just don't have the density. A lot of people think just because we have BMW here, for instance, and there's a lot of connection to the German market, that we should have a flight to Germany. Based on the data we have, there's currently, and Tom can give me a head nod if I get the numbers wrong, but about 15 or so people a day from our community going to Germany. Obviously, nowhere near the amount of volume we would have to support say a flight to Frankfurt or Munich or something like that. But I do think high on our list. I think before we would see a transatlantic flight, I think Canada is high on our list. A few years ago, we were pretty close on getting some traction there. I think that could be in our future. I also think there's opportunities on the leisure side. A lot of people in our community like to take vacations down in the Caribbean or Cancun, Mexico. I think that's probably where we will start to see maybe some movement from some airlines. But again, this is probably a couple years out. But we work on these things every day, and I do say, air service is kind of like it's a long courtship sometimes with some of these airlines, and we're having conversations that sometimes can take years to materialize. So that's something we work on every day. Yes, sir. That's a trick question, isn't it? Yeah, I would just tell everybody from the community, don't drive to Atlanta, don't drive to Charlotte. You need to start your journey here at GSP, because we like to tell folks that we got to support what we have so we can keep growing more, right? So, yeah. I think, and this goes back several years ago. I think in our industry we call it leakage. If there's a customer that's originating in let's just call it the 10 county or the Greenville Spartanburg area, and they're not starting their journey at GSP and they're starting at one of those other airports that we talked about a minute ago, that's called leakage. I want to say years ago our leakage rate was probably closer to 60%. We were leaking 60% of our market out, and we were capturing about 40% of our home business. I believe today, based on more recent data, we've kind of flipped that upside down. So now we are probably capturing close to 60% of the market, but we're still leaking 40% of the market. So I would tell you, anecdotally, I mean, I do, believe it or not, I do not get any discount for working at the airport. I pay the same price everybody in this room pays for. It'd be kind of like the person who owns the mall getting to shop at Dillard's for free. They don't get to do that. We don't get to fly for free. So we pay the same price. You check the price, you check airfares one day, it's going to be one price. You check a week later, it's a different price. I don't really, we kind of joke that they've got monkeys in the back room throwing darts to pick airfare sometimes. But I will tell you, our community is a strong business market. We as consumers don't want to hear this, but the airlines will charge what the market will bear. We are considered a relatively affluent, high yield, high revenue market for the airlines. So I think if the planes are full, so they're charging what the market will bear. If you're selling widgets, it's supply and demand, right? I don't know where I was going with that question, but talking about just back to the leakage, I think airfares have gotten more competitive in this area. Everybody knows how long it takes to drive down 85, whether you're going to Atlanta, Hartsfield, or Charlotte. I would just tell people, if you haven't checked GSPs in a while, check it again, because it's probably better than you remember. Yes, sir. We do, and that we're hearing more and more of those kind of stories. If you're on this side of Atlanta, especially because if you have to drive through Atlanta traffic to get to Hartsfield, it can be a nightmare. So we are seeing more of that. We see people, if you look at it's like an amoeba, stretching all the way from probably Greenwood and further east down to northeast Georgia up to Asheville, Gastonia. We'll see people from Gastonia actually sometimes come down to GSP to catch a flight instead of going to Charlotte. So it just depends on where they're going. We will always be at a disadvantage to the Charlottes and Atlantas just on sheer number of nonstops, right? Because Charlotte has a hub with American and Atlanta has the hub with Delta. They have so many nonstops, so many international destinations that people can connect with, fly on. We just can't compete with that. But if you're willing to take a one-stop flight, GSP can get you basically anywhere in the world. Yes, sir. So real quick on the runway, he's asking about the runway shutdown project. We have been working on this project for more than 2 years with airlines. The airlines knew these dates over a year ago. unfortunately, some of our airline partners decided to keep selling tickets. They have now since turned off the sales, and they have notified. There's only a few customers that might have bought tickets those weekends, and the airlines are responsible for communicating to those customers, and they've either rebooked them or reaccommodated them. I'm not going to. I mean, back to our kind of funny little video that we all got a chuckle out of. Airline customer service is a little different than airport customer service, I think sometimes. But if you're willing to just to fly out a little bit earlier on that Friday or flying a little later that Monday, we can still accommodate you. So, well, again, thank you, Rotary, for what you do for our community. Again, we said, airports need strong communities. I think Rotary is a big part of that, having a strong community here in the upstate, and appreciate what you guys do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I was just at the airport this morning, matter of fact, dropping off my husband. So as usual, we are donating a book to Alexander Elementary that Mr. Howell has signed for us, entitled "You Don't Want a Dragon," and it's a flying dragon. So I think once again, Jenny has picked a very appropriate book. And if you'll stand with me for the 5-way test before we lose everybody. And I'm saying it by myself. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And will it be fun?